for now, let's go back to politics and bring in Honorable Ginika Florence Tor, the president Iwokwenu for Asiwaju Shatima, as well as Abiodun Adeniyi, Arise News analyst. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program. Well, you know, I wish we could actually talk about the oil theft. I see that Abiodun wants to really talk about that, but let's talk politics first. We can get to that much later. I actually want to start with Atiku Abubakar, who, well, Kaduna seemed to be a beehive of activities for, you know, our political heavyweight, other than Spain, really. Atiku in Kaduna today says that the Northerners need to vote for him rather than an Igbo man or Yoruba candidate because he is a pan-Nigerian. I don't know what you make of this statement, which right now is being criticized.
Yeah, it's a delicate statement that he made. Delicate in the sense that he didn't mean it, obviously. You know, this is not necessarily defending him, but he didn't mean it, you know, from in his raw form. You know, what, if you look at the interpretation, is that he's saying that he should be voted for as a Nigerian, a pan-Nigerian person of northern extraction. Just like we were saying earlier, that we need an Igbo president of a Nigerian president of Igbo extraction. It's like saying that we need a president of Yoruba extraction. So it's not necessarily saying it, you know, in the raw, you know, barefaced manner of saying that vote for me because I'm a northerner. You know, but delicate in the sense that as a presidential aspirant, you know, a very tricky time. You know, he should have been more careful with his choice of words, and considering that he's talking to, you know, an elite sect of Nigerian politicians, you know, from the north, a critical section, who are how to hear him, you know, to know what he has in stock, you know, for the populace, as the case could be, you know. So, taking out, if we need to understand it within the context of the first of all, his audience, you know, and the sense in which he was making it, you know. But like I was saying earlier, you know, he's just playing into the hands of mischief makers, which is why it could rightly be taken into the cleaners. And of course, it's going to be more job for his spokespersons to come out and defend what he was saying.
And that's
but in my own interpretation,
happening.
I don't think that he meant it, you know, as saying that because I'm a northerner, vote for me. That's not my interpretation.
Well, to the cleaners, he has been taking. Florence, I want to bring you into this conversation. Well, one of the spokesperson of the campaign organization, speaking about Festus Keyamo, he has actually, you know, gone wild on social media with this statement credited to Atiku. But I want to know from you, what do you make of this statement where he says, you know what, Northerners, you need to vote for me because I am that big bridge builder and also a Northerner myself?
Well, I disagree with Prof first, trying to make excuses for him. For me, that is a wrong statement, quite discriminatory. Besides, does it even look at the aspects of federal character? Let me put it that way. When it is for the north and then it goes to the south, he didn't consider that. Is he now saying that it is just going to be just one region or one part of the country that should be in governance? So for me, it's a wrong statement, and definitely he meant it. And I know that our own candidate, Asiwaju, is the right man, and he's going to definitely win. And
you can't say definitely because it's not up to you. Can't say definitely because the electorates are the ones who will decide who becomes the next president.
The people are also
but Florence, let me stay with you real quick right now. Asiwaju himself seems quite confident, just like yourself right now. He is very optimistic that he will win the next elections come February of next year. But talk to us about the experience that Tinubu brings to, you know, the federal level, because we do know him. Yes, they say his campaigns, if you look at, they're looking at his track record in Lagos State, but the only experience he has gotten at the federal level was when he was a senator. That's the legislative arm of government and not the executive. So talk to us why you think he deserves to be our next president and what you think he'll do differently.
Well, I'm sure you listened to him today. He said all the issues that you've put down, even though we know that some of these issues, you say our party hasn't done well. I know that we have done a lot. But he said something. He said, whatever it is that is an issue that he's going to tackle them, he's going to face them. And he's speaking from the angle of what we know of him. He has great antecedents. He has done it before and believe he would do it again. You talk about Lagos alone, not just Lagos. look at, he said something about successor, if you listen to him quite well, meaning that it's not about building the country, doing all you need to do. You might do everything good, but at the end of the day, if the right man does not succeed you, everything will still go back down. So he is trying to say that whatever is being built by us, he will leverage on that and do more. And so definitely he is confident because he knows that the world knows he has built people, he has built Nigeria, he has built Lagos State, and he has sustained Lagos State up to date.
Right.
So for some people, I know, when you ask out there, they will tell you, if we can get a bit of the experience of Lagos, if we can get a bit of what he did in Lagos in Nigeria, then definitely we're going somewhere.
Right,
yes.
But you know what, the APC has been, the party at the center for the last 7.5 years, going up to 8. And I want to come to you, Prof. Well, the APC has been criticized. If you look at our indices, when you compare it to 2015, they would say probably the party hasn't done well enough really to warrant such optimism that they would win again in 2023. Listening to her, and of course Tinubu earlier, your thoughts?
Well, maybe we're getting to a time where we should play down, the impact or the effect of political parties and look at the individuals, being put forward by these political parties. Sometimes the individuals can make the difference. If you look at the Labour Party, for instance, they are fielding an individual that is obviously very charismatic, obviously disruptive, who could have made the same impact if he had gone to another party, maybe SDP or any other party for that matter. And so we're getting to a level where individuals will be the redefining element in all of this, not necessarily the political parties. Against that background, we can be saying that, okay, President Buhari has his own style, he has his own disposition, and of course he brought it to bear in his style of governance. Maybe Atiku flying the flag of the APC will also have his own style, his own disposition that he's going to bring to bear when he gets to, if he gets to power, as the case could be. And of course, in the PDP too, Atiku too has his own flair that might be different from that of the former PDP president, Goodluck Jonathan. And so it's a question of style, a question of personality, and we may not begin to necessarily prioritize the political parties.
Personality.
Do not forget again that over time we've been talking about the similarity, the commonality of these political parties. Many of them are just vehicles, for getting political power. In terms of ideology, they are always very close in their philosophies, in their vision, in their mission, and of course in their cardinal objectives. So it is in the individual disposition, the individual worldview that will eventually make the difference for us going into 2023.
Right.
So I think.
And Ginika, something that stood out for me was the fact that Tinubu, got some sort of, he got El Rufai to come back on stage to make a promise that he was not going to leave after he wins, going by his words, when he wins in 2023. That statement, if you go by what analysts are saying, it's almost like Tinubu is offering him some sort of position if he eventually wins. So can you talk to us about what that really was, in your own opinion? And are we looking at El Rufai being a member of the cabinet if Tinubu eventually wins in 2023?
Oh, wow. Let me take it from his own angle. I love what he said when he said we should be looking at personalities, the person that is contesting at that moment. And he said something, but I'm going to Bola Ahmed Tinubu first. If we look that way, then we have the right man based on what he did before now. And I'm also not going to allow this meeting to kick us off completely that we haven't done anything as a party. We have actually done a lot. And I can run you through some of them. And anything I say to you now, I also believe that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu will come in and ensure a perfect system also. For example, like he said, that when we should not be looking at party, but we should look at personality. I agree with him. And looking at what we have done before now, you talk about accountability. And we know Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a man that is accountable, a man that when you talk about accountability, he is there. You look at the Treasury single account. You look at rice.
Well, that
meal.
wasn't his idea.
Yeah, but
it was an idea that was birthed during the PDP era. Even though it was implemented, during the APC. But of course,
you will agree with me that this country, we have law put together, but it's implementation, the enforcement. Right. Whoever enforces it is who you will see as the right leader or as the right party. So our party did. And you talk about rice meal, 6, over 100 now, and today importation of rice.
Well,
and all of that. So
some will argue and say the price of rice, especially local rice, is still on the high side compared to the indices of 2015. These are the realities.
For God's sake,
you can't say for God's sake. It's the reality of what we're faced with.
It's work in progress. But
there's enough time for campaign statements to be made, really, because at the end of the day, we're here talking. No, you'd really have to pay for that, because if you're going to sell your candidates to Nigerians, you would have to do something about that. But for now, we're here having a conversation about, what is happening in the polity. And Abiodun, I want to come to you right now. The fact that we're seeing a governor, Nyesom Wike, this is like almost the 10th time this year that he's had to travel abroad for some political meetings or another. And one wonders, is there no place in Nigeria where these meetings can really happen? Especially, some are saying it's a bit insensitive looking at what is going on with our forex and the likes.
Well, I think there's a sense in which we can say politicians sometimes, just do what they want to do, without recourse to public opinion, yes, it's a legitimate conclusion to draw, but what I think again is that there are 3 ways in which we ordinarily learn in life, largely, really. We learn from our own experience, from the experiences of others, and maybe from things that we read in a book, through education, or through school, and of course, in this circumstance, there's an important wisdom we can draw from the experience of PDP and Wike. From the experience of PDP, it is telling us that in life, be careful who you offend, because there are some people that you offend that will not necessarily, that they will find it very difficult to forgive you, to let go. Yes, we can make mistakes as humans, but in making mistakes, we're also being reminded that mistake may be human. But of course, some people will not believe that you're actually human to make a mistake. So just be careful, tread carefully. So PDP's experience is letting us know that it's a kind of wisdom that we need to internalize, even as human beings, from our personal and collective experiences.
The question, was the fact that the meetings happening abroad, if you look at the fact that some are even questioning his political judgment, because it's almost insensitive, looking at, exchange rate. Is it nowhere in Nigeria where these meetings can happen?
Can make, of course, we have also x-rayed this, against the background of feeling that it might just be a neo-colonial tendency, thinking that foreign lands might be a place where you can think properly. But arguments can also be made. Well, these are influential individuals. They were most of them were largely somebody before they became governor. They could tell you that they are funding it from their own purse. So how are we going to prove that they are using public resources? It's not within our remit to do that, because we need to prove it. And of course, they will tell you they are free individuals. Even if they are governors, they can hold meetings even in the outer space or outer Mongolia, as long as they can afford it. But again, that's appealing to their. It's a matter of style, and it's just what we can do in circumstances to appeal to their conscience. To be respectful of the sensitivity of the people, because people now, sections of people just think that they are frittering away public resources against the background of concerns around the absence of transparency, the lack of accountability in the system, and of course, being governors are people in charge of an important subnational sphere of government. We need some higher level of responsibility from them. But again, how do we have the proof that these public resources that they are using? If we don't have that proof, of course, the best we can do is just to comment and maybe sit down, look, like Bola Ige will say.
Well, I would have to say thank you so much for joining me tonight on the program. Abiodun Adeniyi, Arise News analyst, thank you so much for being here. And also saying thank you to Honorable Ginika Florence, the president, of course, of Igbo Kwenu for Asiwaju and Shatima. Thank you so much for being here tonight.